Yeah, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to my live stream. I am the actual King Smith, and this is my Wednesday vlog where I come on at around 8-ish Eastern Standard Time Zone in the evening to come on and talk about whatever the funk I want to talk about. I'm streaming across multiple platforms at the moment, and I'm going to ask one thing of everybody. If you're watching this, whether you rock with it or not, help a veteran out. Y'all see this DD214 shirt? Hit that like button. That helps spread my channel out on the algorithm if there's a like button that you are watching this on. All right. We also got TikTok where we're going live at as well, and I can see y'all over there. Shout out to, you know what? I'm not going to say your name. You might want to be watching incognito. All right. But we have a couple of things that I'm going to get off my chest tonight. And if y'all are in the comment section and y'all feel like adding to the conversation, get them thumbs out or stylus or keyboard and put your comments in the comment section. Let your voice be heard tonight. Last night we had the State of the Union address here in the United States for 2025. And what people don't realize about the State of the Union address, it's like a constitutionally mandated thing that a president must do. And it's to get the president out to the people and discuss how things are currently and what they're trying to do. Now, this is going to be a live stream in which I'm going to just share my thoughts. And if you have any thoughts or comments, I'm not here to bash anyone's opinions or insight on what they might want to contribute to a conversation. I just ask that you be respectful in contributing to the conversation. No name calling, no demeaning of anyone. Stick to the facts. Stick to the facts. Stick to anything that's relevant that you want to contribute, and don't make baseless claims. Okay? I'm not going to do that. Anybody that does that, I'm just going to ignore it. Plain and simple. Okay? So let's see if we got any comments in the building before I continue on here. We do not, so let's just get right into it. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about, we got a couple of different things. So the VA came out and Secretary Doug Collins had released about a 4-minute video. I've got the video here. It was posted to his X account in which he talked about some upcoming things with the VA. Now, as a veteran myself, what happens and what comes along in the VA matters to me. All right. Anything that's impacting that impacts me. So, of course, I'm going to pay attention. If you're not a military veteran in the U.S. or affiliated in whatsoever and you don't care, then this won't apply to you. But in some aspects, and you can make this case for anything. If you're a teacher, you can say, well, teachers are important because they help educate the youth. So anything that's impacting teachers, of course, educators are going to care about it. Firefighters, police officers, we're going to talk about them, same thing. All right. Shout out to CC Smith. That is my mother in the building. She's checked in over on Facebook. She said hello, and she did not watch it. A lot of people don't. I tune in on the first one for each president just to kind of hear and see how Congress and the House and everybody responds to what the leader of the free world is going to say. And what I saw yesterday, it was interesting. Within the first 2 minutes of President 47 speaking, you had a representative, I want to say Representative Al Green, get booted and kicked out immediately almost. And it just, I don't know, right? I've always been a part of a team almost at every level of my life, coming from high school to my time in the military to my current situation post-military, in which I'm employed. I'm going to be covering some things there. I'm employed also with the Department of Veterans Affairs. Man, why is Kick sending so many? I've got to block some people. Y'all give me a second. Block and block. All right. Got some spam in the chat. I should keep the spam in there because that helps with the engagement. Whatever. But I've always been a team player. And the team is as the team goes as far as like their leader. And just because you're at a position of authority, that doesn't automatically make you a leader. And the sign of a good leader is somebody that can get buy-in from, I'm not going to say everybody. It's hard to get everybody to fully invest in what your message is or what you're trying to do. And I saw a lot of division amongst our own administration, amongst our own leaders. Okay. When the president was upstanding, you had pretty much all Democrats, as if they coordinated this, say, we're going to sit down. All right. Okay. From what I've gathered, what I've read, they viewed a lot of what the State of the Union address was as a what do they call it, like a pomp and circumstance type situation. All the fanfare with no real substance. But if you look at other people, other folks highlighted the individuals that were put up there on a pedestal. You had the terminally ill cancer child who was made an honorary, was it CIA agent, FBI agent, Secret Service agent? Well, I think it was Secret Service. You had the widow of a police officer who was killed in the line of duty the night before. I'm sorry, yeah, the State of the Union address, which they highlighted that just the day before in California, you had a police officer shoot a teenage kid that was running away from gunfire. And in the State of the Union address, the president announced a bill that he's trying to get pushed through that would make the death penalty automatic for anybody who kills a police officer. And in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, what happens to the family members, or what happens to the people in which somebody was illegally, or not illegally, I'm not going to say illegal, but the justification for a person wearing a badge in somebody else's life in which it shouldn't have happened. And I wish I had this video queued up, but I can just describe it real quick. Kids in the same area as two other teenagers. The teenager by himself said something to the other two people. The people that were together, one of them had a gun, pulled it out and started shooting. At the same time, the kid that was by himself runs. He runs away. He doesn't confront the situation. And as he's running, he's sprinting, getting away from the gunfire. A police officer that happens to be in the area responds to the shooting. He hears it. It comes over the radio. He says that he's going to respond. And as he's running to where the danger is at, I'll give him props for that. He's running to the danger and not away, at least. They cross paths. The kid that was running away from getting shot and the police officer cross paths, and the cop, within 2 seconds, draws his weapon and shoots the guy. Shoots the kid. He dies. 16 years old. Here are some facts that are relevant, but not really. I'm going to throw this in there because people are going to highlight this. I think this case is going to go viral. The kid was found to have had a weapon on him, but the body cam footage is off. So now you have folks questioning, well, was that planted? It's not far-fetched to say that. But imagine if you're running from gunfire to try to get away from danger and you get skitty popped by somebody that's got the badge on. Is the new bill that President Trump's trying to pass going to hold people accountable that make the wrong choices and the wrong decisions as well? And y'all, I'm going to say I get it. When I was active duty, my job was an in-flight refueler. I refueled other airplanes in the air. There are several professions and jobs that attention to detail matters. The proficiency in your job and what you do matters because people can live or die by the decisions that you make. In the air, if I did anything wrong, if I didn't follow a checklist, if I was lazy about what I did, I could have ended someone else's life that I was giving gas to behind my airplane, or possibly caused some type of structural damage to my own, in which I would have had a situation in which my takeoffs and landings did not equal each other. When I was in aviation, that's all I cared about. Did my takeoff and landings match? That means I got home safe. So, in the position of a job like that, you can't make mistakes. A mistake could end your life. I had surgery January 24th to get a defibrillator implanted. Those things, whether it's a fairly routine thing for people that are experts in doing it, anything can happen. If they're lazy with the anesthesia, I could get paralyzed and not wake up. If they nick something while they're inside cutting my insides, I could get paralyzed or have some life-changing issue. Police officers fall into the same category. There is a lot of pressure put on them for what they do. And quite far and beyond, there are several positive police interactions than there are negative ones. So I'm not here to bash the police. I am here to say that there needs to be accountability at all levels, no matter what your economic status is, no matter what your position is, no matter what it is that you do. If you mess up, justice should be served. I don't get how we lost that. Or maybe there was never a such thing as justice. I don't know. I get surprised when I see people do certain things like storm the Capitol. Storm the United States Capitol, a federal building where you have unauthorized entry to go in and do so. And you have the audacity to do it. Here's the plan. We're gonna storm the Capitol. Rah, right? And then receive a pardon after the fact. As if your actions had no real consequences. During the U.S. Capitol raid that occurred several years ago, people lost their lives. Some people died from that incident. Some people got seriously hurt from that incident. And it's my understanding, I don't know if 100% of the people got pardoned, but a lot of people did. What does that tell anybody that's growing up now? The youth, the generation behind us, the YNs, the people that I'm concerned about. If I'm going out, just minding my business, doing my thing, that they might see something that I have, they want it, and they decide to take me out. Where's the justice? Where's the accountability? Where's it at? So I'm trying to get people to understand that until we all get on an equal playing field, which I take that back. I don't believe that there's ever going to be a chance that we are going to be on equal playing field. And here's why. The opportunity to succeed in life is there for everybody. At default, opportunities there. Are there people that are going to have a leg up over you because their parents put them in a better position? Yes. Doesn't matter what your skin color is. Doesn't matter what your gender is. Doesn't matter what your education status is. Some people are going to be 5 steps ahead because they were prepped to be that way. That does not mean that anybody that's behind can't move up. If you're not moving up, it's not a systematic issue. It's not a systemic issue. I think that's the same thing. What I say, systematic and systemic. It's not a gender issue. It's not a them versus us issue. It's a you versus yourself issue. I'm tired of the excuses. Tired of the excuses. Tired of the excuses. Can't blame anybody else. I've preached and preached and preached that there's going to be A big divide between the have and the have-nots. And if you are not taking steps to be a part of the haves, I'm going to tell y'all right now, don't be complaining as a have-not when the haves have what they have. Plain and simple, man. Plain and simple. C.C. Smith said there is no justice when it comes to certain people's status. I don't disagree with that, right? For example, if Barron Trump does anything stupid or ridiculous, justice won't hit him the same way that it'll hit King Smith. I know that. I'm aware of that, right? Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's lifestyle is ridiculous. I'm actually surprised President Joe Biden won and has been in politics as long as he has with the son that's as reckless as he was. Hunter was reckless. When you start really paying attention to the lives of some of these people because they're public figures, you'll realize these people are reckless. Yet, if you ask people about me, most people will say I have a little bit of an attitude sometimes, like not a bad attitude. I'm stubborn, if anything, a bit hard-headed, but I pay attention. People will never describe me as disrespectful. People will never describe me as somebody that will say to somebody and look down on you because of my status being different than yours. That's not me. I am somebody that believes that everybody should pull up their own bootstraps. You should put in the work for what you're getting. And if you receive something, then it should be based on merit. I do believe that. There was a viral video going around of a lady, and it was hard to tell if this was a skit, rage bait content, or serious, because sometimes these people are serious. There was a video going around of a young 20-something-year-old woman who didn't have a job. I think she had 2 kids by 2 different men, and was on government assistance for everything. Government assistance for her kids, government assistance for her housing, and the interviewer asked the interviewee, "Why don't you just get out and work?" And you can see it in her response. She's going, "Why would I?" When she's getting all this government assistance. And I don't blame her. Let me be able to live off of somebody else for free. I'm doing it. I've been somebody that's worked since I was, I'll say 17. The jobs that I had prior to me graduating high school wasn't necessarily jobs per se. Thank you, Uncle Nate, for making sure that I didn't necessarily have to work and, still had some spending money to do things when I was in high school. But I went off on a tangent to say this. If I were to get into politics, I had some peers tell me that I was too nice and that I'm not ruthless enough to be in politics. And the thing is it's not politics that's important to me. It's having representation and taking care of people and ensuring that whatever plan that I could formulate is something that benefits a majority. You are not going to be able to cover everybody. You're just not. Not in a public way anyway. But for the people that are in Congress now, take whether they're left, right, non-party affiliated, they're the representatives of you, as in you, meaning the people in general, go out and vote for people to represent you. The people that you're voting for, some people vote because of, they vote for their own interests, right? Some people vote party, which to me is stupid. Some people vote their own interests. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of the people that get elected in, these are ultra rich people, and the problems that they have are not the average American problems. Now, if you were the average American that got voted into politics and you made something of yourself, I give a salute to you. You understand what the average American needs. And you don't have to sit at poverty line or, making it just above the normal average net wealth because you're in politics. No, you did what you needed to do. I have one person in particular who I know real well, who, in my opinion, she is going to succeed at what she does because she's good at what she does. And she started off as a volunteer post-military service. And now she's a state representative. And in 20 years from now, I'm not going to be looking at her any kind of way if she's a multi-millionaire. Because at least she was somebody that wasn't born of a politician, didn't necessarily come from good, have a silver spoon that led her into being an elected person. She worked her way there as a nobody. Not calling her a nobody, but, she wasn't a Kennedy, a Rockefeller, a Biden, or anybody like that had a known last name. She probably doesn't watch my live stream either, but if she did, she would know exactly who I'm talking about. But do our elected people really care about us? Think about that. When I say us, the average American, I put myself in average American category. I'm not poor. I'm not in poverty. I'm also not ultra mega rich either. My daughter is calling me, and I think she's just calling me back. You know what? Whatever. Can't talk right now. All right. CC Smith said she should run for president. You know what? I don't know if her aspirations are for president. She would be somebody who would get my vote, only because I know her. When you go down and you vote during the midterms and things like that, how often do you actually know the people that you're voting for? Some of these names and faces are people that I only see when it comes election time. And then when you're at the polls, they might be there to where they're going to try and make a final push and get their name out there as somebody that you should be able to, vote for. I know I trust more of a person who I might see every day than somebody who I only see during election season. Or I'm not seeing them on TV that often until it's time for you to cast your vote. Now, if you go to these town halls and stuff like that, yeah, but you're going to them. I would like to see them come to me. I don't know if that's too much of an ask. That's somebody who I would have, who I would put my vote behind without hesitation. But to be told that I wouldn't make a good politician, not because I'm not smart enough, because I'm not ruthless enough, is interesting. Because that says that to a degree you have to be ruthless in order to be an effective politician, or that's what that person thought. And I disagree with that. You have to have influence, absolutely. You have to know how to be able to influence people to get buy-in, especially when you're running different areas, right? Larger areas. I understand that. But to say that I'm not ruthless enough, that right there tells you everything that's wrong in our country right now. Let's see. Something else that I wanted to highlight here before I go to the next thing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip that. Speaking of not caring about us, I'm going to play this video. It's a short video. It's not satire. It's for real. This person went to go pay a bill, and the bill was cheaper when he didn't have the insurance on file. So when he actually tried to do the right thing and get with the hospital to get their insurance billed, he got another bill that was higher than the original bill that was lower when he didn't have his insurance on it. I hope that made sense. So let's play the video and y'all tell me what in the world is this?
How can I help you?
So I think there's a mistake on the bill, but maybe you could help me out. We got a bill, and then we realized that you guys didn't have our insurance, so we sent you the insurance, and it looks like the bill went up.
It went up?
Yeah, the first bill we got without the insurance was $600, and then the second one was almost $1,300.
So, again, went to the hospital. First bill that he was given was around $600. And then a edited bill came that doubled almost, or just over doubled what the original bill was. All right? Why did it happen?
Okay. Yeah, so that the first invoice you received, that's a discount that you receive if you're uninsured.
Okay, so the first bill that he got was a discounted bill for being uninsured.
So you're not eligible for the discount since you are insured. And so the bill was $2,342.14. We billed your insurance. Your insurance only paid $1,078.85.
The guy's looking. He's like, wait, what? So I have to pay more to you for having insurance?
Can I go back to the discount without the insurance?
That's a good question.
No, so you're insured, so you're not eligible for the discount.
If I go cancel my insurance, am I eligible for the discount?
No, sir, because we checked eligibility and you do have active coverage for data service.
Oh, I needed to cancel it before I got the service to get the discount.
You're only eligible for the discount if you're uninsured.
Okay, so I'll get cheaper health care if I'm uninsured.
If you're uninsured, you're eligible for the discount, correct?
Is this common? Like I pay for insurance and I end up paying more out of pocket because I pay for a premium? That's wild.
No, this is just a new law that passed or started 2024 AB 716, and the law is if you receive a discount if you're uninsured.
Okay.
So when we first send a invoice to the patient, we bill them as if they're uninsured. If you're insured, unfortunately, you're not eligible for the discount.
Okay, so just if I have the incentives straight here, if I want to pay less for medical care, I should cancel my insurance if my daughter needs life-saving medical care?
I'm not sure. I don't know, sir.
You
should cancel your insurance. I'm just letting you know that discount's only for patients who are uninsured.
I like what the guy on the phone is stating. He's sticking to the facts. He's like, I'm not going to answer anything for you. I'm telling you what occurred. I can't tell you what to do. That's actually really good customer service.
Okay, that is special. That is a special law. So there's no way to put that discount onto an insured person. Only the uninsured people get that.
Correct.
I thought that was interesting. Now, on a macro level, there's a lot of extra things that go into that, which this live stream isn't going to cover that or talk about that. But on a macro level, there has to be some things that are, a part of that would make it okay for certain people, but unsustainable for everybody else. But the cost of healthcare in general, I believe, is outrageous in the United States. I have several peers that are expatriates. I think that's the right term. Expats is how they say it for short. in various other countries. They spend a lot of time between those countries and they come back here, reapply for a visa, go back over. And anytime that they receive health care, one guy told me he took an ambulance, had to have his gallbladder operated on, and the ambulance ride and the surgery and the pills that he received was about 450 US dollars total. That was his final bill. I can't imagine what that bill would have cost in the US. We got a couple of people in the comment section. Let me acknowledge the Sports Bar, which is my co-host on Sundays at WTF Nation Radio, said, "What do you hear? What do you say? Who's this lame white dude? Guy looks like he irons his socks." He did look like he irons his socks. Jacob Johnson's in the building, said, "Join us." That's an inside joke. And CC Smith said the insurance company is flawed. Well, the medical care system in itself is interesting. On the one hand, you got to think about this. To be a doctor in healthcare for whatever you do, go back to what I said at the beginning of this live stream. It matters. It's important. It's a position and job that you can't mess up on. You can't give somebody the wrong information, the wrong prescription, the wrong type of anesthesia. You can't cut the wrong artery. It's important. So the level of training and things that they get and what they earn is commensurate with their job knowledge and things like that. But how do we afford that? How do we pay for that? Some people say that healthcare should be universal and it should be free, but I don't know about free. I don't know about free. Technically, as a U.S. veteran, I have free healthcare, but that's something that our nation promised to me as a veteran for completing honorable service. And it's not fully free. There's some payments that can occur depending on what your situation is as a veteran, right? But you shouldn't have to be fighting living in a cardboard box to receive life-saving care. My homie that got his gallbladder worked on was able to receive surgery to make sure that his quality of life didn't change. And from the ambulance ride to the surgery to a overnight stay and his medicine out the door, 462 US dollars. That's it. That bill in the United States might have been a $30,000 bill. I was playing flag football down near the White House on a weekend one time, and this guy snapped his leg and he started screaming. And somebody on the field said, "Call 911, call 911." And the guy yelled, he said, So in the middle of him screaming and hollering in pain, I've told this story before, he stopped screaming to tell whoever that said call 911 to not call 911. He instructed somebody to go into his bag. He gave the passcode. He said, "Call my girl. She's going to come pick me up and drive me to the hospital." And then I was kind of puzzled by that decision for a second. But what I didn't understand, about 15 seconds later, he said, "I ain't finna pay that bill for the ambulance ride." And everybody started laughing. So while he was in pain with his leg being snapped, he had the wherewithal to go, "All right, well, I know I'm gonna have to get some work done on my leg, but I'm not gonna compound it and add on to it by getting a ride in an ambulance, which is probably gonna add an extra $1,000 to my bill." That's what he thought about. B Brown on Facebook said, "If I ever get injured, don't call me an ambulance. Call me an Uber." And I said, it's ambulance, but I say ambulance. Because have y'all heard people try and say ambulance? They be like, "Call an ambulance." Or they'll say, "Call an ambulance." Spell ambulance. But I found that video interesting. All right. This last video here I'm going to play is going to be of Secretary Doug Collins with the VA. he talked about some things that is occurring in the Veterans Affairs. It's a 4-minute video, and I'm not going to play all of it, but I'm going to play what I think is interesting, and I'm going to let y'all take a look. I want y'all to tell me how y'all feel about his thoughts. For the veterans out there, this is important. For the VA workers, which, let me raise my hand. It's on my LinkedIn. I don't mind sharing it. On my LinkedIn, it says I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. This might impact me in some way. Let's take a look and see what old Dougie Doug's talking about.
Hey everybody, it's Doug. I've always promised you I was going to shoot straight with you, and you're going to always hear it from me. Well, I got a bit longer message for you today, so just bear with me because you'll want to hear what I'm going to say. The VA has been a punching bag among veterans, Congress, and the media for decades. Things need to change. We owe America's veterans and the hundreds and thousands of excellent VA employees solutions. For many years, veterans have been asking for a more efficient, accountable, and transparent VA. This administration is finally going to give the veterans what they want. President Trump has a mandate for generational change in Washington, and that's exactly what we're going to deliver at the VA. We're going to make the department work better for the veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors we are charged with serving. And here's how we're going to do it. In response to President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency and Workforce Optimization Initiative, VA is conducting a department-wide review of its organization, operations, and structure. Central to these efforts is a pragmatic and disciplined approach to eliminating waste and bureaucracy, increasing efficiency, and improving health care, benefits, and services to veterans. This will be a thorough and thoughtful review based on input from career VA employees, senior executives, as well as the top VA leaders. Our goal is to reduce VA employment levels to 2019 in-strength numbers, roughly 398,000 employees, from our current level of approximately 470,000 employees. Now that's a 15% decrease. We're going to accomplish this without making cuts to health care or benefits to veterans and VA beneficiaries. VA will always fulfill its duty to provide veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors the health care and benefits they have earned. That's a promise. And while we conduct our review, VA will continue to hire for more than 300,000 mission-critical positions to ensure health care and benefits for VA beneficiaries are not impacted. There are many people complaining about the changes we're making at the VA. But what most of them are really saying is, let's just keep doing the same thing at the VA has always done. No, not going to happen. The days of kicking the can down the road and measuring VA's progress by how much money it spends and how many people it employs rather than how many veterans it helps are over. Here's just one example. We're conducting a comprehensive review of the VA's 90,000 contracts, which are worth more than $67 billion. After reviewing roughly 2% of those contracts, we were able to cancel nearly 600 non-mission critical or duplicative agreements that will save the department roughly $900 million. Just imagine how much more we'll be able to save after we review the rest of VA contracts. The money we're saving by eliminating non-mission critical and duplicative contracts is money we're going to redirect to veteran-facing healthcare, benefits, and services, resulting in massive improvements in customer service and convenience. Improving services to the veterans is exactly why the VA exists. That is what everyone, Congress, the media, and VA employees should be focused on. There have been a lot of news coverage regarding recent layoffs at the VA. Now, we regret anyone who loses their job. And it's extraordinarily difficult for me, especially as a VA leader and your secretary, to make these types of decisions. But the federal government does not exist to employ people. It exists to serve people. At the VA, we are focused on serving veterans better than ever before. And doing so requires changing and improving the organization. Look, the VA was never perfect, and it will never be perfect. But we can and will make it better. When we find problems, we will fix them. When we will communicate what we are doing to the public. That's what I'm doing right now. But we'll be making major changes, so get used to
it. So get used to it.
Right now, VA's biggest problem is that its bureaucracy and inefficiencies are getting in the way of customer convenience and service to veterans. As I have said before, we owe American veterans and hundreds of thousands of amazing employees solutions. And mark my words, that is what we will deliver.
Okay. He said about a 15% cut in human resources, which I can't do quick math like that, but 60-something thousand people, right? But doing a restructuring, so while also reducing around 65,000 people hiring those mission critical type jobs. I'm going to assume he means doctors, nurses, people around healthcare, folks that can ensure that benefits claims don't take 9 to 10 months, that it could get done a lot faster. That'd be great. I'd be on board with that. Okay. I'd definitely be on board with that. I needed to have a certain specialist for my health care, and the VA couldn't service me where I live because there wasn't anyone within an hour's drive that could hit my specialist. I needed an endocrinologist specialist, and one finally got hired. And then it took 5 months to get on this person's calendar because of everybody else that needed to see the one endocrinologist that services that area, and that dude stays busy. If you can't make an appointment with him, you're waiting about another 2 months before you can go around and see him, because he's the one in my area that services the area that I live in. Wouldn't it be dope if there was a second endocrinologist that people could see, right? If they want to come and work for the federal workforce, you have to be somebody that either loves service or want to, or loves a certain mission to be able to come in and work for the federal workforce now. It used to be that people would say if you wanted stability, go work for the federal workforce. But as we're seeing now, that ain't the case. Reduction in forces are coming to everybody, right? And my position's not safe. I'm not a doctor. So who's to say that when this reduction in force, comes down, that Secretary Collins and his team don't look at what I do and go, not mission critical. Get him out the door. I've been with the VA since 2013. Right? This is how I'm looking at it. I'm prepared. It will suck. Don't get me wrong. It will suck. But I've put myself in a position to be able to survive. And some people be like, hey, man, King, man, you shouldn't be saying that publicly. Hey, man, it is what it is. Again, I'm not a Rockefeller. I'm not what's the dude on Facebook? I can't think of his name right now. But I don't have his lineage. I'm not a Kennedy. I'm the average American, at least by status. I'll say I'm average. In my head, I'm above average and above everybody else that's out there. Let's see. Kathy Kays said, hubby was at the doctor's office right across the street from the hospital. They wouldn't let him walk, nor could I drive him. He was threatening a stroke. He was treated with strokes. They took him by ambulance, and it cost us over $400. They wouldn't let you just go here to here. They made you. Hey, that sounds like a hustle to me. I'd be like, no. I'll get him over there. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what. Yeah. They charge you if the ambulance comes out, even if you refuse to go to the hospital. I got a $60 bill. Wow. So that tells me I might have to go, hey, time out. If you're thinking about an ambulance, don't. I'll just get a lift to where I'm going. Wow, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that. Have y'all ever looked at a medical bill to see like all of the line items? It's baffling. They've gotten better about it, because there used to be charges for like the paper. It was like an admin thing that got charged on your bill as well. And it used to be something for like $300. And people got smart and said, why is this admin bill $300? It's like, oh, that's for the paper that got printed out. It's like, why are you charging me $300 to print 4 sheets of paper? So there are stuff that when enough people say something, changes do happen. And that's what we have to do. But I implore people to improve your situation. Remove any anchors in your life that is doing nothing but causing you to go down and down and down. whatever that might be. If somebody's vice is alcohol, if somebody's vice is drugs, if somebody's vice is gambling, if somebody's vice is women, get those people out of your life, because you will not be able to move up with them in it. Let them sink or swim on their own. That's how I look at it. But it is what it is. C.C. Smith said that it's all greed. Greed, greed, greed. When does it end? Some people are in a better position than others. Great for them. So if you're not, you better boss up 2025 and get your money up. Plain and simple. All right? That's my live stream today. Thank y'all for tuning in. I went a little bit longer than I planned on going. But that's what happens when you're as long-winded as I am sometimes. Again, if there's a like button on the platform that you're watching on, do me a favor and hit that like button. Let me double check to see, because I didn't go back over to TikTok. See if I have any commenters on TikTok. I don't, but somebody decided to donate over there. So I appreciate whoever that was. Thank you for donating to my live stream. Appreciate you. Let's see. No additional comments. Great. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all's Wednesday. It's hump day. Relax. Get a massage. Go do something. Read a book. I'm about to... I'm not going to say what I'm about to do because it's boring. Y'all have a good one. I'm out. Peace.
Chant. The king's back. 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 The king's back.